Should you literally sell all of your axies and run away to the hills? This is what we're gonna talk about today. I remember when I started playing Axiie, alright? It was pretty much one of the last booms that Axiie had at the time. And I remember that the total volume of axies being sold was about $30 million a day. With about, I don't know, 65,000 axies being sold a day. Which means that, like, the amount of axies being sold is actually kind of constant when you consider that we are about, you know, 3 times less volume being flown around the market. First of all, I want to talk about some nerfs, and you know the reason I want to talk about these nerfs is because buying or selling axies right now depends partly on how or whether cards will change in the future. This is a really easy one. I think if there is one card that's gonna get destroyed, hammered down to the ground, is Double Talk, okay? I think the concept of sleep right now is really strong, broken, some would say. If it should keep working the way it does right now, it probably would need like at least 40 of the damage being nerfed, because you can have like a full HP axiie with 150 shield, and that axiie will be solo killed by something like this, by, you know, anything that has Double Talk. There's like the Double Talk crit axies that can do even more damage. I think the fact that just ignores shield in the first attack, broken, probably gonna be destroyed. So if you have Double Talk axies, I don't think you need to like necessarily sell all of them, but if you do have like a farm or a big operation, maybe you should start considering moving away from Double Talk a little bit. Obviously, there's going to be more changes. You know, from what I heard, Battle 2.0 is going to be huge, and a nerf to Double Talk might not necessarily make that axiie worse than it actually is right now, because there's going to be a lot of other things introduced into the game. But as you know, obviously none of what I'm talking is financial advice. This is my opinion. This is my opinion, you know, from someone that's been around for a while, that talks to big breeders, very high MMR players. I'm a high MMR player myself, so that's how I feel. Another card that I heard some people saying that they want it nerfed is Eggshell, but I actually disagree quite a bit about it. I feel like, unlike Soothing Song, Eggshell is a card that benefits, that thrives on high IQ. I think this card has a huge ceiling in the ways that it can be used. So it not only, you know, allows you to defend an axiie, but it allows you to kill an axiie you usually wouldn't be able to, just because you were able to cast Eggshell, and then like all of the other axies that you have will be able to do damage to it. When you have Blackmail, that's not a possibility, but when you have Little Owl, you can see the full potential of Eggshell. And I don't think it's going to get nerfed. Maybe, you know, a little bit of damage being taken away, but I don't think the status effect of Aroma is inherently, you know, too strong. Now, Tiny Turtle is another, I think, like, in general, what people realize is that these status effects are really strong. But I think out of, you know, Sleep, Fear, Aroma, Poison, Stun is probably the less strong one, I think. I feel like they might nerf Chomp, but I don't think they're gonna nerf the way stuns work, and I don't think they're gonna nerf this too hard when you compare it to Double Talk. I feel like this card is strong, but it's, you know, it's a decent, very good card. But, you know, maybe you take a little bit of the shield away, maybe you take a 10 damage away. Overall, I don't feel like this card is OP, it's just good. And maybe just nerfing it a little bit, combined with buffs in cards that are a little bit weaker right now, should be enough to even the playfield a little bit more. Cute Bunny, probably the second strongest card. I think like the fact that Cute Bunny kind of forces you into having a team built around it is, at least, I kind of want to say, is slightly less OP than Double Talk, because you can just get this in any axiie and it's just like so strong. Like here, there is some skill involved in how you keep your cards and when you use Cute Bunny, and whether like you're waiting for an axiie that is in front to die so that the fear applies into the next one, and that one was expecting to use cards, and then like it wastes all of the cards. But regardless, it's still a really strong card, and I think you either need to nerf the damage significantly, or you have to change the 2 turns fear that Terror Chomp has. This card is way too strong, and once again, I think if you do have a full Cute Bunny team, it might be fine to keep it. I'm actually not a big defender of these people that, you know, just want to sell everything right now. Wait for the update to decide what they're gonna buy again, and I'll explain just a second. So here's the thing. Right now, I think if you wanted to go for this decision of like selling everything and waiting, you had to do that a month ago. You had to foresee the end of the leaderboard of that season, expect buffs, nerfs, and like actually just gave up at that time, because then you would have sold at a, you know, all of your axies would be valued at a much higher level than they are right now. Overall, everything is really cheap right now, and a lot of the good axies that I have, they're not worth a lot. So even if I consider that they might get nerfed, the fact that I have to sell right now is probably still not worth it. I think, you know, unless you really need to pay your rent, I think there's like different cases where like people actually invested way more than they should have. In those cases, you know, maybe you might just be forced to sell everything. I don't feel like it's a smart move, generally speaking. I think that, yes, some cards will be nerfed, but you can always reallocate your resources. And also, I want to talk a little bit about poison, right? Because grass snakes, garish worm, really strong combination, super meta, will definitely get nerfed in one way or another. I think there's like a couple of routes you can go. I think garish worm is weaker than grass snakes, in the sense that the strong part about venom spray is the fact that it's 0 cost with 2 poison charges. So you could, you know, either nerf venom spray so that it's only 1 charge. You could also nerf the shield and the damage that it gives, just so it only does 2 poison. I think that would be probably sufficient, but, you know, in general, with people that, in a lot of balanced teams, I think, you know, I come from a Dota environment where most things don't get heavily nerfed, but instead everything else gets buffed. Not sure if this is the approach Sky Mavens will have with X Infinity. I do like that method a lot. I pretty much enjoy having a myriad of different metas to choose from, in detriment to just like, all right, let's just destroy this thing that was good one time and make it totally suck. We'll see what they do. I guess like at the end of the day, what I want to talk about is, if you have huge farms of any of these cards that I talked about, maybe you should scale down a little bit. But I don't think you should be selling everything that you have. First of all, you can still play PvP, and it's way less competitive right now than it was. So you can still farm SOP, and you might be thinking, well, SOP is worth nothing. There was a crash right now. And yeah, there was a crash. If you're not paying your rent with your SOP, I am very confident that once a huge patch drops, regardless of the patch, you know, solving all of the problems that X Infinity has right now, there will be a rebound. There will be an inflation, because the fact of the matter is, SOP is inherently bad in the sense that we don't have enough ways to burn it, okay? But once those things get introduced, probably in the patch that will have the nerfs and buffs to all of these cards, the price might spike. And you might want to breed at that time. So having SOP saved, even if it feels like it's not worth a lot right now, will probably feel worth it in the future. And all of these meta cards, they are so cheap. Like I was looking here at the recently listed and recently sold cards, and there's almost like, you will rarely see an axiie that is that costs more than 0.1 Ethereum being sold, which means there's a huge amount of amazing deals just waiting to be picked up. You know, yes, you might lose a small amount of money if you buy something that is expensive right now, and once the patch drops and it gets nerfed, you're not going to be able to sell it at such a high price. But here's where I come in. This is where our bot come in, okay? So this is Roboe. This is our bot, and you know, I was just looking for a couple of different axies over here, and I found this beauty. So here's how it works. Okay, I was looking for something that had tiny turtle, furball, and grass snake, and I ended up finding, all right, here you go. So this is it. Okay, 0.1 Ethereum. This is, I don't know, maybe a month ago this would probably be worth 0.5 Ethereum. This is a lot of damage because of beach. This is an amazing backliner. You have furball, you have tiny turtle, you have grass snakes, just like a shit ton of damage, a decent amount of shield, and you know, an easy way to use chomp just because you have a 0 cost card, and you know, it's setting for 0.1. And I think if you're still trying to figure out what Axiie is about, it is very, very recommended, in my opinion, that you start playing right now instead of waiting for the next season to come in. Because when, like, what happened to me is that when I actually understood the game well enough to make good purchasing decisions, everything was already super inflated, and this is normal. Like, because of the way these seasons work, and because the game is still very, you know, there's not that many players, things will spike in price based on demand. So if you start to learn the game right now, and I think there's a lot of amazing axies to use to learn right now, you will be able to get enough understanding of what is good and what's not, so that when the patch drops, you're already making amazing good decisions when the prices are still developing towards an inflated or higher purchasing you know, power. Yeah, this is my recommendation, okay? If you're new to Axiie, if you want to dip your feet into Axie Infinity, I think it's an amazing time to join. There's obviously a little bit of negativity here and there, but I do trust Kai Mavis, not only because of the infinite money that they have, but because of the people involved in the project. I do have a couple of friends that work there, although I don't really discuss anything beyond like what's public already. And yeah, I think this is like a really good time to start learning this game, to be prepared for the next season. If you do want to use my bot, you can actually use the link in the description. We have a public chat where, you know, you can talk about anything. I can help you with buying axies. Just DM me. Our bot is an amazing way to find deals like this one, and you know, there's infinite amounts of axies like this one, especially when everyone is, you know, kind of panicking, which I think it's a little bit overblown. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, guys. Bye.